Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. Today, my name is Amanda Mitas, and we're talking about consolidated invoicing today. I'm joined today with Eric Sukulak, who is our Chief Product Officer at TPA Stream. Eric is going to take us through a little bit of a demo of the product. But before we get started, Eric, why don't you take a moment and introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Amanda. Like Amanda said, I'm the Chief Product Officer. I'm also one of the co-founders here at TPA Stream. So, the business started out of a personal problem I had dealing with my own benefits. And we've been excited to just work through the benefits industry for the past handful of years here. So we're excited today to show you about our consolidated invoicing product.
Thanks, Eric. Before we get started, I wanted to kind of level set and share with everybody a little bit about TPA Stream and the products that we offer. So we have two primary products in the market today. One is our claims harvesting product, which collects and standardizes claims data from many of the main carriers across the country. We support over 250 carriers, not only the main players, but also a lot of local players to collect that data for substantiation and reimbursement to help automate that process. And also our consolidated invoicing solution, which really has done a great job of automating invoicing, accounting, and payment processes for our clients. And really what sits below all of this is our proprietary platform, our infrastructure, and kind of how we're all set up to be able to offer these solutions. We're really good at consuming data, standardizing that, and making it accessible for our TPA partners. So we also offer developer tools for both, for the claims harvesting product, so people can integrate the claims experience in their apps. We're HIPAA compliant, and we have our SOC 2 Type 2 certification, which is super important in today's age. So before we get to the demo, just wanted to kind of outline and level set some of the billing challenges we hear from a lot of the TPAs that we chat with on a daily basis. And they're really around three core issues that we see. One, there's a lot of people usually involved in billing. Either there's too many people or not enough people involved, but everything is a little bit fragmented. One of our clients recently shared with me that his account managers were doing billing, or at least validating the participation for various employers before the bills were sent out. So even having people that are responsible for sales involved in the billing process, it's a little tricky and not using resources the most wisely way. And then in terms of the process, we're manually pulling data out of WAX and Allegis, manually moving funds, and there's a lot of compliance requirements that go into this as well. And then from a systems perspective, a lot of times TPAs are using systems that are not a good fit for what needs to be done. A lot of times they're relying on Excel or Access to get us, 80% of the way, but it's a lot of manual work that goes into that. This adds a lot of risk in terms of the business process. There's a lot of wasted time, and the customer experience at the end of the day could be better. So we've spent a lot of time, as I mentioned, talking to TPAs in the market about their typical invoicing process. And I'm not going to dive into all of the squares here. This is available on our website. So you can kind of take a look at what we believe is kind of the standard process that we've seen in the marketplace. But there's a lot involved in pulling this enrollment data to generate an accurate invoice, and a lot of manual steps. With TPA Stream, we're able to connect directly to WAX and Allegis, pull this enrollment data from the app, and apply any of the one-time fees or adjustments that you'll see that you can set up in TPA Stream, generate those invoices in 3 clicks, and then post it directly to both an employer portal and an accounting system. So it's a lot simpler. Eric, why don't we take a minute and take a peek at the app? I know that that's probably why everybody's interested in attending the webinar. They're not here to hear me talk, certainly.
Sure thing. So yeah, we're going to do a quick overview of our consolidated invoicing product and just some of the different areas within the product that our users would be working in. So, the first and foremost, let's just dive into invoices and see what these look like after they've been generated. So if I get into invoices here, the first thing that we're seeing is it's pulling up a batch of invoices that was most recently generated. We understand that a lot of administrators typically do their billing processes in batches, and sometimes it's across different teams. And by really embracing the whole batching system, we're able to integrate really well into how teams are working today. So we've got this batch of invoices that exists. There's 3 invoices in there. Um, we can click on this first one, and we can kind of see what the end employer would see. So Sunny Benefits is our demo administrator here. And we can see we have this sort of cover sheet, and it's showing, a number of different fees here. And as we scroll down, we can see there's detail associated with each of these different line items. So we can see who is, in the different accounts and what they're being charged. So, for this particular FSA HRA admin fee, we have 3 members in the account for a total of $15 at $5 a piece. We can see that the invoice has been viewed once after the email has been sent to the group. And we get a lot of other options here. So we can resend the invoice. We can send a test version of the invoice to ourselves. We can download a summary PDF, which is really just that cover sheet, and the detail PDF or CSV, which gives all of the actual detail information that you saw below with member names and all of that. We can print, we can change the due date, we can update the balance. Typically, that's done through an integration with the accounting platform. So if a group makes a partial payment against one, that will come through then to be reflected on the invoice. We can void or delete, which again integrates directly into the accounting platform to perform that void or delete option. And then generate payment transactions is another piece where if the billing contact associated with the group has a bank account associated with them, generating the payment transaction is what allows us to create the NACHA files associated with pulling funds for these fees. So we have a lot of options in terms of what we can do with these invoices after they've been generated. Beyond that, we have a lot of different filtering options to see, what's been paid, what's been viewed, sent, not sent, voided, or overdue invoices. So, we can clear out our batch here, and, all of a sudden we have a whole lot of invoices here. We can go page by page through them. We see we have these ones overdue. Maybe we want to select some of them and, resend those invoices to those particular groups. So again, a lot of flexibility to see what's going on in your invoicing process, where you are with these groups, and give you some actions to take. So a couple other things just to be aware of there is this first invoice that I brought up where I showed you there's a cover sheet and then there's all the detail down below. When we email the invoice out to the group, the PDF attachment is only going to have the cover sheet because we're really sensitive about the data that's contained within the invoices.
Yeah.
So the group needs to have a secure portal link where they can go in and download the detail if you want to make that available to them. So we have all sorts of options to say, these groups we want to make the detail available. Maybe these ones we only want to be able to send the cover sheets. We have a lot of flexibility there.
Yeah, that's a
But
really good point because, sort of the data sensitivity is super important. But what's neat about the portal is that it has, it helps reduce a lot of the customer service issues that you end up having with dealing with open balances. And that integration that you mentioned from the accounting platform is also really valuable to present that data on the invoice in terms of what's overdue.
absolutely. So, all that being said about invoices that have already been generated, I'd like to take a minute or two and jump into, what are we doing to generate these invoices? What's the setup look like? And what kind of flexibility do we have there for our fees? So if we jump into recurring fees, you can think of um, these are setups that are meant to be billed over and over again. So typically, we see this on a monthly cadence. although a number of our partners do quarterly billing, or they have some annual bills, or even weekly billing when it comes down to claims funding. So here we are, and we're looking at Lumen Industries here. We have some kind of overall setup for this group in terms of when we're going to start billing them, and if we have a contract end date when we would stop. But then we have a handful of these services defined. Excuse me. And within each of these services, we have a whole lot of flexibility in terms of what sorts of things we're going to bill for. So here we have a Cobra monthly fee. This is just a flat fee of $25 no matter what. A Cobra participant fee. So this fee, we're charging 95 cents per total insured employee count. This is leveraging another piece of functionality within TPA Stream where we can actually automatically reach out to your groups on a periodic basis and say, hey, can you just update us on what your current insured employee count is? And whatever they use will be used to drive the invoice. Now, we have other functionality if you want to use data directly out of a Cobra platform. So we have both a self-reporting and pulling data from the Cobra platform. If we look here, we have an FSA admin fee. As we get into the details here, we can implement so much flexibility here where we can say, hey, in order to be counted in this fee, you have to be in the FSA, and maybe we're going to say, yes, we want actives and term runouts and runouts, but maybe for our runouts, we want to say they have to have a balance greater than $10.
Mhm.
This is a really commonly seen thing in the industry that it's really easy for us to accommodate all the flexibility you're going to see from group to group and how these deals are sold. One of the other things I'd like to show here is just how simple it is if you have bundle billing, where you're going to have a lot of different pricing for different combinations of plans within a single group. So if we say we're going to add a new bundled service, and we go in here and we pick our FSA, HRA, HSA bundle, we're immediately shown all the different combinations that exist of these different plans. And we can go in and say, the FSA by itself is $2, the HSA might be $3, the HSA is $3, and we can go in and just really quickly customize these. And we have these other pieces where a service item, for example, service items are the services from your accounting platform that when we push the data out there, that these different line items are going to be tied to. In this example, we just have admin, Cobra, and medical billing. But if your accounting practices say that you want to have all the FSA under one service and all the HRA under another, we can certainly accommodate that.
Hey, Eric, just to go back to bundle billing, it just
Sure.
reminds me of, I think about how folks are doing this today and downloading all the spreadsheets from Wex, understanding where participants may have two or three plans. All of that is just seems like a total headache, and I'm grateful that there's people out there in the world that are doing it. But this is a really cool thing in terms of doing it differently and using technology to our advantage.
It really does make things a lot simpler. And once you get these recurring fees defined, this is a one-time setup.
Yeah, yeah.
And just a few other things just to note here is you can have these do divisional breakdowns automatically, and you can say, show me all the divisions, break it down by division with all the detail, or maybe only do some certain divisions here.
Yeah.
So you could have all your east divisions billed to one person, all your west divisions billed to another. You set it up once and it's going to happen every month. But once you have these set up, generating invoices, your monthly practice that you need to do is as simple as selecting all, generate invoices. You pick your invoice period that you want to bill for. you can, the invoice batch name is going to be auto-populated. You can put a note in there if you'd like. Um, Another quick thing to note, our automatic look-back adjustments feature. Um, if we want to look back into previous billing periods and offer credits, debits, or both based on the data that we had then versus what we see now, those will be applied as adjustments on the current invoice, which is a really powerful piece of functionality that we introduced this year or last year. Um, but you basically just pick your period here, click generate. All of these are going to be batch generated, and within just a few minutes, they're going to be ready for your review. And once you're comfortable with all the data, you can click post. That'll send it out to your accounting platform, and then you can email your invoices right out to your employers. It's a really, really simple monthly process then.
Yeah,
Um,
that's really cool.
a few other things to touch on here real quick. We do have this concept of sales entities. These are just groups that are not the employer themselves that either are going to be responsible for paying a portion of the invoice. So if you have a deal with a broker where they pay all of the replacement debit card fees, that's a really easy thing to set up here. And you can just assign it to, Richard Smith here. And then when you generate the invoices, he's going to get a separate invoice that specifically calls out those fees. Um, Additionally, you can define commissions for these sales entities on PEPM or percentage-based or flat rate conditions within all of those fees that we already talked about. So, these are just essentially different entities within your accounting platform. We will bring these in as part of all of this. Um, and then
Cool.
within the commissions piece, just a quick example, of just what a commission report could look like. Here we've got a couple. You can download this as a PDF or a CSV. It's a really straightforward way to just show what groups generated what commissions for which sales entities. And then the last quick thing to touch on, we have this concept of contracts. It really solves an even more advanced billing scenario where maybe you want to have a monthly minimum across a handful of different services. So, between your FSA, between your Cobra, between all of these things, hey, it's going to be $100 minimum no matter what. Contracts are where you to go to set those things up. And, we have a lot of flexibility there in terms of what we can offer. So that is the quickest overview I can give. Uh,
A challenge because there's a lot of functionality in here.
Absolutely.
But I think, thank you, Eric. This is extremely helpful. I think one of the things to note is how much we work with our clients upfront to understand how they're structuring things today so we can help develop, the right recurring fees within the platform for them and really get them set up for success from the get-go to make that migration from their existing process as seamless as possible. So great, thank you. All right, just kind of moving along, Eric highlighted some of the coolest parts about consolidated invoicing, but in terms of the administrator side of things, we're able to offer the solution across all benefits. We talked a lot about Cobra and CDH today, but because we're able to consume files of any type, we're able to actually offer that for other types of TPA businesses as well. Eric talked a lot about the accounting integration, so I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on that right now, but it is important to note we support multiple accounting software, majority of the software platforms that are out there for accounting. And then on the employer side, it's a really great experience for them. We've totally eliminated any questions about what's on the invoice, any of the questions that they have about participants in a particular plan, because all the data is right in front of them. It's easy to access those invoices on the portal via a secure link in their email. And we can set it up so any level of detail is visible on that invoice, so you're able to see the participant information if desired. Eric also talked about divisional billing, but just wanted to highlight that again because that's a pretty cool feature. We talked a little bit about the employer experience. They get this beautiful invoice every month. It's branded with your TPA brand on it. So it's another touch point to kind of reinforce your brand in the marketplace. In terms of customers and ROI and value, you can read a lot of testimonials on our website, but in terms of the key areas in which this helps them improve, there's a lot of time savings involved. We hear in the marketplace and from our existing customers that this helps them save 30 to 50 hours per month with our solutions. And it helps them improve accuracy and efficiency because we're using that source data directly from Allegis or Wax in this case. And it's really helped support growth. There's a lot of bundle billing, as Eric talked a little bit about, that you're able to easily integrate into your billing. Additionally, as lifestyle accounts become more popular or you're adding additional lines of service, it's easy to add as a recurring fee. And I'm sure you can see in this demo how this would improve your margins without having a lot of the manual processes involved. It really frees up those team members to focus on value added and revenue driving activities. And then on the employer side, it's a really nice digital first experience for the employer when they're able to access this at the touch of their fingertips. So we're proud to be in partnership with some of the best in the industry. We have some really great customers, and again, if we get to that point in a conversation, we'd be happy to connect you with our customers who have had a good experience with the product. So thank you again, Eric, for joining us today. I hope for our attendees, this was a valuable overview of our product and our solution. And if you want to learn more about our software, either on consolidated invoicing or certainly on claims harvesting, we'd love to talk more. You can send us an email to sales@TPA Stream, and we'd be delighted to chat. Thanks again, Eric.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.